I'm sure Natalie, you'll let me know if I'm not. I think, can everybody hear me okay?
So we can hear you, but I just see you. So if you're sharing your screen at this moment, we can't see your screen.
Okay, perfect. I'll get to that in just a moment. Okay, so I am in Wisconsin. Yep, I've been teaching for the Bravo Salon Specialist distributorship and with Ref now for 5 years. And I have been in the industry for like 19 years. So I am very enthusiastic about curly hair. I have been mentoring curly hair for some time. I'm going to get this share up so that you guys can just kind of get some visuals. I think it's important to show some visuals, kind of give you guys a little bit of background and some credibility about what it is that I do and what it is that the Ref brand can do. I will start and say that I have natural curl myself, and I have been blown away since I converted all of my products to devoting my hair to the Ref brand. And my curls have gotten healthier. My scalp feels amazing. And you're going to see that through some of these photos. So curly hair inspirations, that's really kind of really what it comes down to, is building confidence in you guys. If you've not worked with a lot of curly hair, I hope that after today's demonstration that you're going to feel more confident diving in. And if anything, thinking a little bit differently about curly hair. I've got my Instagram and my Facebook up here. I do love to share as much as we can. The multitasking of social media and what we do behind the chair is another part-time job, but it really, really does inspire people. And that's what fuels me to stay sharp at my craft. And it fuels our guests too. So if you want to be a curly hair artist, you've got to put it out there because people really love visuals. So I love kind of just gridding a whole bunch of different curls for a visual to start out class with, because curly hair definitely does not fit into a box. Curly hair is so many different things. It's texture, it's misunderstood a lot of times. People get a little intimidated about it. They don't know how to tackle it. They just decide to smooth people out because they're not quite sure what to do with it. If you're nodding your head yes, because usually when I'm in class with people, they're like, that's me. I'm blow drying their hair smooth because I don't know what to do with it. But you guys, curly hair people are some of the coolest people to work with. They're very, very loyal and they love product. So they buy a lot of retail, which is fantastic. And everybody that I've converted to the Ref brand, tenfold, their curls are happy as ever. So you can see through these photos, there's some that are super tight. There are some that are a little looser and beachy, different colors. You can see how contrast plays into curly hair and how it makes a big difference on seeing some of the curls pop and not. Ref products. Of course, I'm going to speak to some Ref products today. So I'm sure many of you, are so familiar with why we love the Ref brand, but for curly hair, for hair in general, it's because Ref being gluten-free, sulfate-free, paraben-free, the number one thing that I really, really want to nail down for you guys is the fact that Ref created products for all hair types, okay? So we don't need a special little sidebar of a product line for curly hair. You guys, the Ref line is the line for all of the hair types that we work with. And we'll go through some of that and the whys and which care line we're going to use and why, because I think I have every single shampoo and conditioner at home for my hair. If that's anything tall tailing about what it is we choose for curly hair and why. And because of the strong environment, our words are really, really important with our clients, and especially with the curly hair world of conversation, is having some natural ingredients in our products that support the health of our hair and our skin are super important. They're very tuned in to what they're putting on their hair and why. And the Swedish hair care, it's an easy one, you guys. It, has the top ingredients. It's supported by nature. It's sustainable. It's water soluble. That's huge, water soluble for curly hair. We're gonna go through with some of our styling in that, why that's so important, because curly hair folk, we are not washing our hair every single day, but we are washing our hair. So we'll talk about that too. All right, couple before and afters, just to get some kind of wows on some of what we can achieve with the Ref brand. This was a recent photo before and after that I took, and she's actually a young girl. She's, I think, only 12 or 13 years old. This amazing head of hair that we've been working on kind of growing that under layer a bit. And we just got great definition with her new shape and her curls. This one is a really, really fun one. This really kind of really pronounces a wow moment for me with changing somebody to the Ref brand. She was quite lost with her curls. She had some heat damage through her ends, and we were able to achieve such an astounding result the first time. And she actually came back 16 weeks later. Here she is just this past week, and she's been working on growing her hair out. And you guys, the feedback she gave me was phenomenal. She said that since she started using the Ref shampoos, conditioners, the whole system, and kind of instilling the routine of the recommendations that I gave to her, she has fallen in love with her hair. She said it doesn't feel coated, it doesn't feel layered, her scalp isn't itchy. She thought that to define and to calm down her curls, she just needed to kind of coat it on whatever product line she was committed to before. And it was just like music to my ears that her hair feels airy and light and clean and shiny, and that her curls are growing and getting healthier by the month as she works with the Ref line. So all hail to Ref. It's amazing. I want to speak to shape a little bit. Before we start shaping into my mannequin, I love kind of learning the rules and then learning when to break them. If you look at this visual, isn't the chaos in this curly hair phenomenal? If we look at the previous photo, yes, this kind of curl, if we want this kind of definition, it is definitely very style involved, lots of finger coiling, and a very adamant precision style to get that curl to look like that. But this chaos is a bit more playful. It's wonderful to cut. I did a dry haircut on her and super easy to style. So I love this shape. I think this is very trendy, lifting it off the neck, creating a lot of that movement, but a lot of that height and volume in there as well. We are going to do a shorter shape today, a bit in here, but we're going to do a really heavy fringe as well. This one is a great before and after. This is from a few years back now. I love it. I think that her hair too has moved tenfold. She's able to get through it a lot easier. So I love this before and after. And I love the magenta directs that we played with in that right-hand photo. Curls of all ages. I love throwing this one in there. This is her natural white. Of course, I got to chime in a little bit about color because I am a colorist. And this is the directs playing into her natural white hair. She's a woman in her, I think she's almost 70. And I think that this is just a fun image of how you can really make curls pop by doing some black color and playing with some of that contrast in the hair. How many of you work with kids? I've got one curly child myself out of the 3, and the products are awesome on the kids. The curl power is great because it's soft, it's very touchable, it's not sticky, so it's really, really great on all ages. But this little sweetie was so excited about her fresh curls. We gave her some pink mask and some of those little curls, and defined her with that 244 curl power, which was just a lot of fun. This one is another young one, as I like to express, working with Ref on all ages. She has such a tight curly shape, and literally that left shape, you guys, that was picked out, and I did the haircut dry Definitely in a more, this is a more, you know, Afro style curl, and then tighten down into those ringlets for her style. The image on the right cracks me up because she was so excited about her natural curls and how they felt and how they looked that she was literally dancing around the whole front of the salon. So enthusiastic about her new curly hairstyle. Her too, I also leaned on, I know I did the hydrate mask, and I leaned on that 244 curl power because we wanted to stay soft, stay touchable, and that water soluble cream is the perfect answer for this young little gal. These beautiful curls, another success story of somebody who was completely lost with her curls. She loves that sassy little fringe. You're gonna see a lot of curly fringes yet. I'm obsessed with my curly fringe. I change it up here and there. That's why we're gonna do one on the mannequin today. I want you guys to understand the spring of curls and how to work with them and how to create that nice face frame. Few more because I just gotta share these. This was another recent one from last week. Shape is huge. And when we start talking about whether to cut hair wet or dry. So I'm definitely here to tell you that that is a rule. I do both, okay? I am definitely not here to tell you that the only way you can cut curly hair is dry, because it's not true. If you understand curl, you can cut both wet and dry, okay? There's different reasons for both. And a lot of times our clients maybe don't listen to our quote unquote rules and come in a very prepped form that we can tackle their hair in a dry haircut. If it's been too many days dirty, or they've come from working out and they have it up in a tight bun, you can't assess the curls if they're in a stretched out, dirty form. So having your clients come prepped with their curls to do a dry haircut is essential in the success of achieving that. But if we can't do that, I feel like professionally, we have to understand how we can then wash and hydrate the curls and work with them in a wet form, or possibly if they need to be dried a little bit to perform that haircut. So I really, really promote professionally, as you stylists navigate learning curly hair and the how-tos of cutting curly hair, that you become confident in both crafts. I'm going to go through some of my models behind me as to kind of maybe what curl could be done wet and dry. This one I was able to do dry, which I loved because you can see in her left photo that she's got a lot of that really lackadaisy ends. They're really stretched out. And I can't believe how great her after looks to really snap that up and get that hydration back in there. Tight curls. This is my Bridget. We have so much fun. She's got the tightest curls. I think they're almost like as tight as a pencil, like almost as tight as a straw. Really, really fun hair to work with. Another great success story that she loves her hair. She loves her curls. She's actually got a really, really deep story that she had gotten so frustrated with her curls at one point, she had even shaved her own head some years back. And I share that with you to kind of just grab an emotional bone inside you, because sometimes I don't think people understand how intense the decision to come in and get your hair done when you have curls of this caliber. Maybe they've had a bad experience and that might be hindering them on feeling comfortable coming in to get their hair done with you. And that's another reason why I'm so pro promoting your work, because people need to feel comfortable and confident in your craft. So really in the end, after today, I want you to know how successful Ref Stockholm products are and the techniques that we're going to use and talk about, and that's how we're going to get great hair, okay? All right, so I think everybody can see me. I stopped my share. Is that good? View. Good, good. Natalie, everything's good?
Perfect. Yep.
Great. All right, I'm going to try and see myself in my little thumbnail up there so that I can make sure that you guys can see what I'm doing. So first and foremost, I want to talk about why is curly hair different, right? So when we think about this look here on this beautiful model that I did some directs on to get her color, straight versus curly, right? So we know when we do straight hair, we have been trained to talk about elevation, tension, and how we're holding the hair. So when we're getting a look like this, right, we are, you know, working right in with that 0 degree. You know, we can come in and comb, right? Take our sections, apply our tension as needed to get our cuts into the hair, correct? And then two, as we polish smooth hair, we can come in and texturize and remove bulk, all of these things, right? To soften those edges. This is precision hair cutting as we know it. But when you look at her, isn't it interesting that really lengthwise to her straight side to her curly side, it looks fairly similar, correct? But if we really want to be accountable to what that means to be lengthy enough for curl, can you guys see how much more dramatic that length has to be for this curly side? So if you wet somebody down and you navigate a traditional haircut with tension and applying like we do for precision, it's going to shrink up to their earlobe. I always tell people my hair, my own curly hair has about a 3-inch shrink. So when I smooth my hair out, it's probably 3 inches longer than when I wear it curly. So first and foremost, you need to know the elasticity, that stretch and shrink of that curl. That's assessing the hair. Even when the hair is wet, you can assess the shrink of the curl and plan for that drop down that you need to do if you are in fact going to navigate that haircut wet. Okay, does that make sense? So I love this color. You guys, she was decolorized, and of course playing with that saffron yellow and that magenta pink. I've been obsessed with the directs lately. It's super fun. Okay, let me bring up my next model. Let's see. So when we talk about this kind of curl, this model, I definitely would feel comfortable cutting wet or dry. Do you see how it's more of a beachy texture? I did navigate this style for a curly class a few weeks ago and did it dry for the class on the Zoom. But I think you could all agree that when we're working with a texture like this, it's pretty universal the way that the curl looks. So we could probably feel fairly confident doing it wet or dry because it's not that much of a stretch, right? We can work with it. We could work with our point cutting. We could navigate this haircut either way. Doing this dry is very fun though, because as we work through, you can see that shape build right as you are creating it. Okay, she's a lot of fun. Shags are super in, heavy fringes. I do have a couple of visuals on the back wall here. You guys can see these are both, all three kind of working into a little bit of shorter layers up top and a nice fringe. One has more strength on the left with a bob. They are all a lot of fun. So this pretty lady, she is wearing her natural color. I did prep her, decolorizing some block color sections. And I wanted to do a technique that could be complementive of straight hair or curly hair. I think sometimes people get overwhelmed with curly hair and what to do for color, but they want to have fun as well. So a nice headband block color section through her front, which we're really going to accentuate by lifting this length up. And then carrying it down all the way into a back corner section that I had decolorized to spill in through that aqua. Same with over the ear on this side, doing a soft triangular section to create some of that color work. All right, I want to make sure you guys can see. So what I want to do is I want to really lift up her length. And when we're working with curls, we want to prep the hair and prep the detangling. Wonder Oil is definitely my go-to product to do that. It's the marula oil. It's fantastic. It's nice and light. Okay. We give a nice pump through your fingers, and I want you to prep that curl. This is you kind of getting a nice read on the curls so that you can navigate how we're going to shape these. Of course, we're going to do this in a dry form because we want to see the shape and build the shape, especially when we think about the stretch through the fringe. Okay. When we look at how much the shrink is and how much they pop up, we want to do that dry so that we can see all of that fun come to right as we do it. So I'm going to section off side to side because we're going to start in the back of the shape. By having that Wonder Oil on, I'm going to create less frizz so that I can continue to navigate this curl without making it too frizzy. Okay. Frizz is also kind of a misconception. If I were to take my comb and comb through all of this curl, I would then create frizz, correct? So a lot of times people think frizzy hair is dry, or it means it's dehydrated. And really sometimes what it means is you've literally just broken up the curl form, the curl family, as I like to call it, and you've just changed the style into this kind of manic texture instead of seeing this nice definition in here. So handle the curls nicely. Okay. If we want to start through the bottom, I am going to separate the bottom layer of curls to start with. You guys want to see a pretty short shape through this? Through her back? Maybe somebody will message Natalie. I want to do a really, really nice kind of a real poppy fringe, but I want to create definitely a lift through her back so that we can see a nice length difference. All right, I think you guys can see my lighting okay. You can see her okay. So first and foremost, make sure that you've got everything detangled. Okay, kind of work your fingers through. You can see where there's certain swirls and different changes of the curl. And we want to honor those because if we start stretching everything out, we're going to change that. So leave it where it's at. I like to start in the center. And literally what you see is what you get. I'm not going to apply tension. And when I do cut curly hair, I do walk my shears. So when we think about our shears, if we just chop, right? If we just take a curl and we chop the tip off, we're squaring off the end, okay? That's creating a bluntness. If we want to have kind of a lived-in curly feel, accentuate the textures, I'm actually going to use the belly of my shear, okay? So when you see me kind of walking my shear out, that's what I mean. It's just kind of really creating a loose cutting that I'm walking off that length. It's so refreshing. Clients really love the idea of getting their curls designed dry. Not only is it fun because they get to see it come to shape right away, but no, I think it just gives them confidence in what you're doing. And a lot of people that have had a curly cut dry for the first time find it to be very fascinating and very comfortable, because if they've had anybody cut their hair too short, this is going to be a very refreshing situation for them. Okay. When we talk about where do I cut the curl, there is such a thing called as the belly of the curl. Okay. When we have a curl and you want to think about where to cut that, you guys see that on my hand? So the belly of the curl is the center of the curvature. Okay. If we were to just chop it, it would be a very blunted tip. If we actually assess the curl and we walk off that tip in the belly of the curl, it's going to give it a much softer finish. Okay.
A hair video.
Oh, cool. Oh, excuse me.
walking some of these tips off. And you can come back and adjust these lengths as you desire once you've moved through the hair. Don't ever feel like you can't go back and remove more length, because we totally can. I'm going to drop down a next section. With curly hair, we do work with fairly large sections because we are working with the hair as such, right? You guys can see some of that black color come through now, which I think is really pretty fun. I'm going to turn her sideways now because I want you guys to see how we're going to start to create elevation. So when we think traditional hair cutting, we're doing the elevating, right? We're thinking of a 45, maybe we're thinking of a 90-degree. When we are doing curly hair, it's really almost visual elevation and visual precision is what I like to call it, because we're not necessarily always creating such sharp elevation. We don't have tension on the hair. So if I want to come in and possibly shimmy off length to match up to my guideline underneath, I can do that by just walking some of those curls off. I hold the tips a little bit because I want to kind of navigate that. Okay, just like so. And removing from that belly, right? The belly of the curl, that curvature. It's a softer finish when you find kind of the belly of the curl to cut into. This is our front section, so we're going to keep that out of our way and remove some of that length. Same with to this side. You guys can see that. Removing some of that length. Okay, I like some of that weight line. If you feel like you want to soften some of it, you can pick up a curl and walk off some of those tips. Notice how I can really see some of my definition yet. I'm not being so chaotic through the hair that I can still navigate, not necessarily curl by curl, because she's got soft enough texture that I don't feel like this is a curl by curl haircut. That is a thing, especially when you start to get into really, really tight curls, that you don't want to create too much mania while you're cutting. Let's continue to walk up that shape. Now we're up kind of almost in that back parietal area. Notice how that Wonder Oil on my hands is keeping her nice and silky. Okay, separating some of her curl families so that I can see where I'm working. I want to start working some height now because I want to show the color in this back corner. And I want to create some height through her fringe, or moving up through her top. So if I want to take a very delicate vertical section, okay, and work my fingers, finding the pieces that I cut underneath and walking that down, you're going to see some of that really start to pop. It is a visual traveling guide because now we can move next to that. Remember, we're really not applying tension. We're just handling the curls very, very softly, not to interrupt. Because if we were to hold this really tight, can you imagine the difference of the feeling of the cut? If I were to tighten this much and just chop it off, it's going to do something much more different than me literally allowing that fiber, because hair is just a fabric, and working with it. Okay, walking that through. Ooh, that color's starting to show up. I really like it. So I mixed a blue with the saffron to create a little bit more of her emeraldish look to her green. Then diluted a little bit of the blue with the conditioner. And then I snuck in a lilac, which was just a diluted violet with conditioner. I'm so anxious for spring, so I wanted to create a palette that felt very springy and also trendy and relevant to what we're seeing right now for color. Walk that through. You guys can see me just remove some of those tips. And before we move on, let's kind of blow it up a little bit. And sometimes I even have them shake their head some, because it'll expose some new areas that maybe you want to shimmy off. Now, I feel like some of you might be thinking right now, what if she wears her hair straight? What would she do? Well, I like to see little comments. If she wears her hair straight, how does she wear this then? What if it's curly and straight sometimes? If she wears it straight, is it going to be different lengths and kind of weird? It's a great question, but we need to talk to our clients about priority. So if we have a client in our chair and they are looking for the best of both worlds, right? They're like, I want to wear it straight like this. This is my favorite, but I really want this like chaos and this fun. Okay, let's be real. Okay, if we really want to prioritize utilizing curl in the hair and having some of this visual chaos and variations for this interesting look of curly hair, then we need to talk to them about maybe if you wear it straight, if we do this kind of cutting technique, you leave some volume in there, right? Maybe you curl some texture or you use a round brush. If you want this look, that's not this, okay? That's kind of why I like to have this model so that we can talk about that honest conversation. And it's okay to call clients out that way. You know, you can't have this and this, okay? Unless if you want to give them a really structured perimeter line and create a bunch of disruption internally, then we can do that. We can do that with texture. We can do that with creative cutting. But there's kind of a difference, right? Love how cute that's looking. All right, so now I want to subsection her fringe section out so that we can create a lot of drama. So let me get her very, very heavy front kind of into a clip. So what do I mean by that? I really, really want to clip out this whole front area. It's almost like a separate haircut. We say that even when we're cutting straight hair. Curly hair is no different. We're going to create a different look right there. So we will keep that separated. Let's navigate up through her crown, connecting. So we definitely are going to start elevating. Let's keep in front of the ear out of our way. Okay, right, we're going to keep this out of our way. And when we start to work through the crown, you're going to see my cutting technique change a little bit. And make sure that I've got her low enough so that you guys can see this. So sometimes we can cut on the inside here, right? We're kind of taught like we're always cutting hair on the top of our fingers. But what I think is super fun about this is being able to walk that texture up. So if I want a subsection here, look at those curly girls. Subsection, really, really, really loose tension. Notice that we are elevating out. We can see what we've previously worked with and cut. I'm going to walk that length out. Now I would say if we had to give that a degree, I'm probably working about 90 degrees off the head for that. Okay, really, really working softly through that curl and walking some up. You guys see that change and how that is laying. Take another one. Super cute. Now, if you wanted to just walk some of that off inside and not have it so elevated, of course you can do that. That's kind of what's fun about this cutting technique and this style, is what you see is what you get. And it's a very creative cutting style. Really, really satisfying. Walk off that a little bit, finding that belly and that curl. Everybody see okay? If I turn this way so that you guys can see it this way. Loose tension. See how this got a little bit tangled up there? We do want to work through those curly snarls because we don't want to remove anything that we don't want. Notice the direction back. Okay. Beautiful lift on that. Not going to do any elevation for this bottom bit. I'm just going to walk these curls off at the bottom and find the belly of this one here too. Ooh, you can see some of those lilac bits popping out. It's going to have a lot more sass. Okay. Let's drop this top crown and connect some of that top bit. I want to see some nice volume. If I'm noticing anything from, say, especially this image here in the back, she's got a lot of that shaggy kind of fun chaos up top. I love seeing that, especially with a nice heavy fringe. So same thing. If we are, in fact, make sure you guys can see that.
There, we can see it perfectly. It's a great angle, and I'm getting a lot of direct messages with people absolutely loving this.
Oh, good. That's great, you guys. Okay, nice loose tension. I think you can see that. I'll even step this way so you can see the empty space behind me. Soft elevation. Notice my arms are soft, right? We are working upward now. Our elevation is up. No tension again. Visual connection. Okay, and using the belly of that shear, and I'm walking variations. Now, such a big difference if we would have just taken that up and rounded that off. We're not building a helmet. We're building this interesting, fun curl that can dance. Let's kind of bike spoke it. Okay. Bike spoke this over, find this one here, same thing. We can kind of see and then watch it fall and see if you love how that dance is happening. Bike spoke to the other side. And walk, walk, walk. Curls are not meant to be the same length. The curls that are most interesting is like, do you guys see how chunky this one is? See how heavy that particular curl is inside here? What if I take that and I split it in half and I walk some of that length off next to it? Okay, maybe even a little shorter and a little longer here. Okay, if you can create pockets of variations inside the curly hair, you're going to get a lot more dimension in that style and a lot more shape. If you are a precision cutter, it's okay if this is giving you a stomach ache. I've worked with some people in class that really get like, oh, like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not like holding it all together and double checking my work and making sure all the dots connect. Nope. This is so much fun. I'm chucking hair all over the salon sometimes, it seems like. Okay, through here, what do we need to remove? Okay, lifting that out. Not much. I'm just gonna kind of get that tip off. And I'll keep her facing frontward for these. So you can kind of see that shape start to build. That's going to complement her face shape. We're not building a Christmas tree. Sometimes with curly hair, we get a little too Christmas tree-y. Everybody turns into a cone. Then they think they don't need layers because they've had a bad experience with a haircut, but we do need layers. We need layers because that's how we get the curls to play. Walk this off. Sometimes if you've got a really, really pretty curl, careful, because maybe you don't want to cut it all off, especially when we're playing with color. Same thing. This looks a little bit chunky right here, so I'm going to come in and get that chunk. Slide some of that off. Ooh, she's a doll. You guys are kind of my mirror. Work this off a little bit. I'm getting really excited about that fringe. You guys are going to love it. Super cute. You can take that whole top and see if you need kind of a visual connection of things. You should kind of be able to do that just by kind of looking on that shape to see if your points are looking really, really nice. Now let's get into the fringe because this is what people are loving. Clients can feel like a little, I don't know if I want to do it. And then I've got my hair up today, but I've got a long, kind of heavy, fringy shag going on. And people are very inspired by such a heavy fringe. It's a lot of fun to wear. It can be versatile because if we think about curly hair and the stretch of our curls, you know, sometimes if we give a curly fringe, we could teach them how to wear it off to the side as well. They don't have to commit to everything down. You can teach them to style it kind of up and over. So it doesn't always have to be in their face. I want to create a really dramatic fringe on her because I think it would be awesome. So let's take kind of that headbanded. Notice how I'm still really, really careful because I don't want to lose all the definition by running my fingers through. So I have follow through when I'm parting through the hair.
Tara, I have one comment from Lynn that says, gorgeous cut. That precision obsession for me is definitely something I need to get over.
Yes, this is pretty fun hair cutting, you guys. Precision hair cutting is needed. That we saw that on the pink and yellow model. We need to do precision hair cutting, but people are looking for this. This is what people are wanting. I love my curly hair clientele. I oftentimes get asked, how many curly clients do you have versus smooth hair clients? And I can't answer that. I should actually look at my numbers. Maybe I could actually find a number on that. But honestly, since I keep building this craft, I feel like I want to say almost 75% of my clientele is probably curly hair. I do charge more for my curly hair work because of the work I've done to get where I'm at and the confidence that I have with it, spending more time with them, teaching them to love their curls, and really, really going through the product and what they need to use. So I feel like there's a high value in becoming a teacher behind the chair and really working with our clients to teach them to love their curl. They think about us at home. I always hear that, like, Tara, you're in my brain. I'm thinking about it as I'm styling my curls. All right, are you guys ready for this? Because this is going to be fun. Let's start right over her nose. And like we said, let's not elevate anything. Let's just consider that we want to see what happens if we just start removing some of this length. Sometimes curls will surprise you. They will bounce. So start lower if you need a safety net, because sometimes just the weight of the curls will all of a sudden release them and they'll bounce way up. Okay, so give yourself a little safety net. But I am not afraid because I feel like she is here for this. I feel like she wants a shorter fringe. And I feel like you guys want to see a shorter fringe. Walking, walking, walking. Of course, we're going to take it shorter. I do like to get right tight to that corner because it opens people up. I'm going to show you guys right on this side what a difference. Of course, that's a really, really pretty ribbon. But maybe on this curl here, maybe I'm coming in and I'm going to walk down and remove some of that length, and that opens up her frame that much more. Let's take a look on this side. Same thing. Let's take this curl. Let's shimmy half of that off. Walk that down. Let's come in. Let's take it shorter. Okay, walk it. Now, if we did any of that comb work and we started cutting at this in a straight, wet form, we would have no way to navigate where these curls naturally want to dance. And she's such a pretty model. We want to open it up and see her face. And this color. Now, do you guys remember, like, what if I took this chunk and I just chopped it? Do you see how square that tip is? Okay, that's why it makes such a difference to come in and work more of in a sliding motion to taper the tip of that curl more. If you need to lift a curl up and even kind of shimmy off. Cute. She looking good there? Let's drop down our next section. Okay, now we've got kind of a visual guide underneath. Okay, we can kind of see where that comes. And if it's anything, if you're looking at some of these curly fringes, it's amazing because there is such a dimension of the shape. It's not all a heavy weight line, right? This isn't all coming down here and just living chopped like this. It has such a cool rounded feel to it. That's what I want to create for you guys. So maybe if I give you a side image so that you can see how we're going to create volume by getting a layer on some of these curls. Kind of a good angle. And there. Ooh, this lilac, I don't want to cut that one off. It's really pretty. We'll see if it plays there nicely. Look at that squirrely bit. Maybe coming up, maybe kind of giving a variance there. Let's see what happens when we drop this down. We'll split it again. Let's take that little tiny peak at the top and keep that out of our way. This is what I was going for her color. I wanted some of her natural to live forward. How many of you are seeing clients that are kind of wanting to possibly entertain living in their natural a little bit? I wanted to create this trend, inspiration to kind of show how much fun. We don't have to stop coloring their hair. We can do block color. We can offer them different things. They don't need to see the grow out at the top of their head. You could do this block color, let this kind of pastel out and live in those variations for a while. It doesn't have to turn into high maintenance hair color. So don't forget to get creative as a colorist to work with these guests and give them something different because they're looking for it. 2021 is going to be a really interesting year for all of us, especially depending on where we are in the nation as things continue to keep opening up and people's comfort levels keep growing. Let's look at elevation here, okay? Like I said, I want to create that roundness in a really pronounced fringe. It's its own haircut. I'm going to take a vertical section, visual look as to where this short hair is, and let's move that right up. You guys see how that just walked that volume up? Same thing here. Watch how I'm slowly going to move the hair. And through here. Bike spoking, right? Bike spoking through her fringe. Visual. Walking that upward. She's cute. Let's take this one and just decide where we want that to land. Sometimes having an asymmetric piece can be kind of character, depending on your client. If they want kind of a bit that just hangs out. I'm undecided right now. I feel like I want to take that one off. Sometimes clients can have areas, we call them deadies. If you get a little kind of over highlighted piece, maybe it's been heat damaged over the years. Sometimes we need to express where we need to just let go of that deady, as we call it, because we don't want to hang on to hair that doesn't have life left in it. Remember, if it's heat damage, we would support that by the hydrate line. Okay, thermal damage and heat damage is lacking moisture. If it's been chemically compromised, if they have been overly blonded or highlighted, they would need more protein to get that snap back. Curls can get kind of lazy, especially if you've pushed the bar with color. So the repair, ultimate repair with ref would be the way to go to get that most quinoa of the whole line. Remember, the whole care line has the quinoa protein prevalent in it, but if we need more protein, it would be the ultimate care line. If we need more moisture, it would be the hydrate with the coconut and the bergamot. Let's finish off those biddies. I kind of want to be visual because now this gets into a little bit of color cutting. Okay, so maybe letting some of these cascade over that color is beautiful. All right, I'm going to set my shear down a minute. I'm going to grab more Wonder Oil because I want to give her a little bit of a shakeout so that I can see the finish of how I want to finish her details. Okay, when we are dealing with kind of a frizz, halo, bedhead, I do promote satin pillowcases because the less friction on the hair, the better. But Wonder Oil and just kind of overlay, grab some of those little fuzzy bits because frizz is a curl without a home. So make it find its family again by Wonder Oiling that together. You can actually re-establish that definition. Sometimes people like to sleep in like a satin bonnet. All of those things are helpful. If they are long curls, they can pineapple it on the top of their head. I'm going to go even more here because I really want to open her up. You guys see that? I'm not in the way. Let me get a visual. You guys see how I'm working with it like a fabric? I'm expanding it. I'm looking at it. I'm finding kind of this little wonky end here and getting rid of that. I don't know what I want to do with this one. Do we like it? Let's do some votes in the chat. Do we like having this long biddy, or should we shimmy that off for a little bit more visual precision? Visual precision. That's another word that I like to throw out there for people who need precision in their life. Curly cutting is visual precision. We're looking at things as a whole. This isn't a connect the dots hair cutting at all. It is visually having fun and creating the texture and the feel in the cut that we want to see. Lifting up curl by curl if we're trying to create a little bit more scatter in this fringe. Just get a look at her once. What's the votes? Any votes on that piece there?
Well, two of us voted and we both love it.
You like the piece? All right, let's keep it. Now, I kind of love her. I love the volume that she's got. I love the variations. I love how it complemented the color. I want to finish her off, but I want to get some more definition in the hair. The curly hair hairspray with rough, that we kind of like to call it that, is the spray wax. But I really like to use my hands when I'm working with curls. So my favorite way to finish curls or to teach my clients second day hair. Now we've already had Wonder Oil in our hands quite a bit, so I'm not going to add more Wonder Oil, but I am going to take 244 Curl Power. So remember, the rough styling line is numbered and the numbers tell you what the product does, right? It's a soft hold, it's a nice shine of a 4, and it's a volume of a 4. This stuff, you guys, you can put it on wet, you can put it on dry. I could not be without my Curl Power. So let's finish her up. We're going to talk more product. I like to work with the spray wax, right? Your hold of a 4, shine of a 3, and volume of a 4. I prefer to spray it in my palm. So I'm going to add it in to my Curl Power and cocktail those together in my hand. Okay, remember kind of this little halo. Rule number 1, I kind of like frizz. I don't like everything perfectly defined and perfectly in place. I like a little bit of chaos. So teach your clients that, give them a break. I think sometimes the market and some of society can get really, really pressuresome on, ooh, if you're going to wear your hair curly, it needs to be like perfectly defined. I don't actually like it perfectly defined. I like some chaos in there. And I think that that's the trends. I think that we're seeing a lot of people get relaxed. They want lived in hair. They want to see movement in there. They don't want it looking like this perfect head of hair. Really, really getting in at the base. Okay, you're actually kind of kneading at the scalp when you're shaking out some curls and scrunching. She is adorable. What do you guys think? You see all that nice lift she's got? Really, really cute profile. And I am in love with her fringe. I think I'm gonna have to get a haircut soon. Okay, so she's done. I'm content with this. I want to talk a little bit more product and what we use and why. My number one go-to, if I really, really need a locked-in set, is 345 Fiber Mousse. Fiber Mousse is everything. In the curly world, people want something that feels like a glaze, something that is going to glide through the curls for setting them and to get through the hair. So when we work with Fiber Mousse, first of all, give it just a light shake and it comes out as a foam, okay? It is not to be applied as a foam. We actually work it down into its glazy form. You can mix all kinds of things with Fiber Mousse. You can add the Curl Power right with it. Sometimes I'll triple cocktail and do my Fiber Mousse, my Curl Power, and my Wonder Oil, especially for my air dryers. If we want to add conditioner to this, we can, but we want a glazy form, okay? When we're gliding and working through those curls. It's not my preference to work with Fiber Mousse in dry hair. I only like to work with Fiber Mousse in wet hair, okay? Curl Power can be mixed with Fiber Mousse. Curl Power, I do not mix with anything else but Wonder Oil and Hydrate Mask. Okay, so if I want to make a more abundantly moisturized product, I could take my Curl Power and mix it with my Hydrate Mask. I don't mix Curl Power with the gel or anything like that, but you can mix it with Fiber Mousse. It's one of the most amazing cocktails ever. Fiber Mousse, Curl Power, Wonder Oil. More abundant moisture product, Curl Power 244 mixed with Hydrate Mask. Hydrate mask and the ultimate repair mask can be put in the hair and left in the hair. The color one you rinse out. So remember that if you have somebody who just wants a nice leave-in, but with some abundance of moisture, they can in fact grab a pump of this, put that in their curls, and let that be their air dry form. It's not going to give them any hold, but it's definitely going to give them some definition and the moisture that that hair is needing. When we talk about other leave-ins, we have our spray leave-in conditioner. Fantastic. This could be a curl refresher that you could mist in, add that extra moisture in. It could also help if you want to pre-treat the hair with leave-in conditioner first. This one, color blue because it actually matches the hydrate line. This is the leave-in treatment. It has your coconut oil and your quinoa in it. Everything within the ref line has quinoa. Remember that. It's our vegan protein and it's fantastic because it mostly mimics the protein in the hair. So ref has it going on when it comes to that. This is kind of a little secret. Not everybody knows that this is so fabulous on curly hair. I have some clients that actually just put this in. It feels like a serum when it goes in your palm, okay? It's super soft, glides through. You can put it in wet, you can put it in dry. This could also be your curl refresher that you put into the hair. If we wanted to come through and refresh some of these ends, right? That leave-in treatment could also be done for that. Really, typically when you're using a leave-in treatment, we're wanting to add a little bit of strength to the hair with that quinoa. It's not heavy because it is a leave-in treatment. It feels like a serum. It's the lighter of the two, and I do love it. I have been marketing leave-in treatment all winter here in Wisconsin because people need that extra moisture because we are lacking the humidity in the air. If hair gets frizzy in humidity, it means that the hair is thirsty. Okay, there's kind of a misconception when it comes to why is the hair getting frizzy? Does it mean it's dry? Does it mean it's dehydrated? Is it just frizzy hair? And it means that the hair does need moisture. When you deliver all of the nutrition with ref into curly hair and it's content and happy, it will not reach out into the atmosphere for moisture. You'll get less frizz because you're putting all of these goodies into the hair and creating happy hair, okay? Happy hair, happy curls, happy scalps. So hydrate is probably the most popular when it comes to curly hair because we tend to like extra moisture. If on my curl, I used hydrate all the time, I feel like I would lose some of my volume over time and I love really big hair. So my favorite on my curl type is actually the Illuminate color with the acai berry. So it adds a ton of shine. You guys, the conditioner with the Illuminate line is like thick and abundant. It glides through curls amazingly. If I've come across any doubters of ref being able to get through curly hair, you guys, it's one appointment, one time in my shampoo bowl, and it's a game changer. They always get the product. They love their curls. It changes everything. Then they tell their friends, and I can't get everybody in the chair, right? So it's a good problem to have.
Tara, I just have one question that somebody said. They said, why wouldn't color mask be able to be left in?
Why wouldn't color mask? I mean, that is a good question. I guess out of the gates, I've been taught that we rinse that one out. The color mask is meant to lock down the color. It's really what by nature that one does. So it is the treatment that'll help seal down that cuticle and lock in that color. Whereas the hydrate one's going to add that extra moisture with the coconut, and the ultimate's going to add the extra protein with it. I don't feel like it would get weird if we're going to speak like openly about, you know, learn the rules and then you can break the rules. I feel like if you try to put in the color mask and you leave it in and it feels great, wonderful. What I love about those masks is they're not so heavy and weighted. Some mask treatments I think can get just too much, and we don't want to weigh the hair down. If it's any misconception with curly hair, is like that client that I expressed to you, she thought that she was doing the right thing by putting these weighted products in her hair because she was taught she needs all that weight to calm it down, which when in fact, you're going to create scalp issues, you're going to get buildup, you're going to create more problems. Curly hair actually thrives when we get that gunk off of it. Ref really promotes clean hair, healthy hair, and we don't want to inhibit any health by layering too much onto the scalp and getting too heavy. It's not to say that a curly hair guest can't go, 3-4 days without washing, but I do teach them that it's important on wash day that maybe they wash actually twice, making sure that we're doing the scalp manipulations because we want to create a healthy scalp. And if all we do is worry about the external curls and layering on what we're doing, we aren't getting the scalp clean and we're not getting that friction and that blood flow. That's important too. So this is why it's such a big appointment and such a big opportunity when we're working with curly hair guests, because there's a lot for us to teach them. I book an hour to an hour and a half with my curly hair guests, especially when they're new. As I get to know them, we can expedite things a little bit quicker. It just kind of depends, and that's the joy of getting to customize our schedules for the needs of our clients.
I have one more question.
Yes.
What would you prescribe for natural, low porosity, kinky textures from foundation to style products?
For the foundation of style products. So
Yeah,
kind of everything.
Go ahead.
Yeah, everything we just said. That curly one that I expressed, I feel like she is one that you would claim as to be kind of that different porosity, needs just a little bit more abundance. Her go-to is the Hydrate shampoo and conditioner. And actually, first and foremost, especially on day one set day, is getting control of that hair with the glaze form of the fiber mousse. We pair in some of the curl power, but really, if I had to express how much we're putting in the hair, it's almost 2 to 1. Okay, it's needing that glaze form of that fiber mousse to really lock in that curl and really lock down that frizz and help with that curl bundle. Some of those frizzy hairs, it is the physical action of the finger coil. And what do I mean by that? So if we are talking about this curl, okay, this is the curl everybody wonders, how do we do that? Okay, sometimes through certain applications, and especially if the hair is in a good place, we can get quite a bit of definition, but many times, what we actually need to do is finger coil that definition in. So if we layer in and rake through all of our curl power, our 345 fiber mousse, get that glaze in the hair, come back in with our 244 curl power, and we manually go through and literally finger coil that hair. You guys remember, let me bring it back up again, because I think PowerPoint slideshow, it's important to talk about the techniques with style. This 94% of her head is tight finger coils on this guest. If you look up through the crown, you can see her natural frizz that wants to come about. If all we did was shampoo, rake the conditioner through, gently blot her hair and bring her back to the chair, it would definitely have a frizzier look to it. It is the action of finger coiling and helping finger set coil these strands, these curl groups, for that long lasting definition for her hair. When she came in, she was actually on day 5. And one of her product hacks that I'll share with you guys is when she's nearly done with a curl power for day 2 hair, day 3 hair, day 4 hair. Not everybody makes it that long. I can't make it that long. I do about 3. She adds a little bit of water to her curl power bottle, and she has her second day or refresher curl power because it's got a dilution to it, and her curls actually like that extra water and moisture in the hair. You could also do a misting bottle and mist the hair first and then layer your products back through. There's so many different options. It's hard to even tell you all of the tricks in one sitting, but there's so many. This guest, she's Ocean Mist. We didn't even touch about that one yet. Ocean Mist is kind of a fun misting. If we were to mist it in this girl, we could actually mist it into dry and diffuse that in. It could replace your 345 fiber mousse, and this could become your volumizer. It's a 303. So it's a natural finish, a soft hold and a soft volume at a 3. It's beachy, it adds texture to the hair. I say sometimes it actually is like a hair in a bottle. It adds more volume to the hair and more oomph. Another way I like to use it is halfway through my diffusing, I may mist this through and it'll give it that last kind of snap of that volume in the hair. So another versatile one that we can use in the hair wet and dry is our Ocean Mist. Shine Spray, fantastic finisher. If you have somebody that's not so hands-in with the Wonder Oil preference, they could in fact just use Shine Spray as kind of their refresher. Anytime Shine Spray is used, right? And once in a while, maybe it's misting it through, calming things down and separating to get that finish in the hair. My photo work, a lot of times I am finishing for my before and after shots, which I did take befores, so I will be sure to get some afters and I'll post them on the page of the look that we created today. And I've also got some straight upper color that I could post as well. See, another product combo, since we're all kind of confused about what should we mix with Curl Power or not. This one kind of surprises people. 244 Curl Power and Rough Paste. If you have a guest that you want to create a little bit more texture, maybe they kind of lack curl, right? Maybe they're more like this sassy girl here with an asymmetrical haircut. If they lack curl and they are looking for more texture and more volume, maybe Curl Power is actually too soft for them. And we want to create a little bit more grit and a little bit more dirty in the hair. Then we can do that with the Rough Paste mixed with 244. They marry in just fine. We know anytime we want to soften Rough Paste, we could add Wonder Oil. But honestly, this is kind of a sneaky little duo and it works. Okay. Oh yeah, I feel like, you know, we have such a gift when it comes to the rough line because we don't need anything separate. So the fact that everything's contained in this nice little bundle of products that we get to work with all types of different hair, whether it's straight, curly, wavy, swavy, kinky, curly, we've got it all. And then when it comes to the hairline, every single thing on here could be for curly hair. In fact, just because you have curly hair doesn't mean that you're only marrying yourself to hydrate because of this idea that curls always need moisture. If we have somebody with fine hair, but it happens to be curly, but it's not high, you know, high frizz and those things, it's actually very soft, we would weigh the hair down if we used hydrate because it doesn't need it. We would then want to pair them up with the weightless because that would give their curls life. That citrus paradisi oil in there would cleanse their scalp, cleanse their hair, and give them that oomph that their curl needs. We can always mix and match things as well, right? So all the options, everything we need. It's why I came and why I'm a part of the REF team. I've been having a blast and I am so happy that I was able to share this Monday with you guys and share some curly hair inspirations.
Thank you so much, Tara. You did a great job. Lots of positive comments in the direct messages and in the general feed. I think people actually really learned a lot. Good tip.
Good.
Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing all your information with us. I did record this if there's anybody that needs it afterwards and wants to review and go over the content. I'd be happy to send it out to you. So again, Tara, thank you for everything, for your awesome knowledge of everything curls. And yeah,
You're
please
welcome.
post the your after on the page or send it to me and I will. And your color formulation would be great. It's a beautiful.
Yes. Okay,
color
I'll work on
combo.
that post. Yep, and then Curl Dr. T, that's where you can find me on Instagram. And